Our next topic in finding the center of a set of numbers is the mode. The mode is simply the number that shows up the most. To me, this is about as easy as it's going to get for mean, median, mode, and range. So the way I like to remember it is MO mode, MO most. The mode shows up the most. All right, there are two pretty simple steps to this. First, we're going to order the numbers. So we have our list of numbers here. Technically, it's not necessary to order them. However, I will say it's really the best bet to make sure you don't miss a number or accidentally not count a number enough. So I would say for sure just order the numbers. Number two, the number that shows up the most is the mode. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, now that I'm done ordering my numbers, I'm going to go ahead and count just to make sure I didn't miss any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we're good to go. All right, now I see that we have 1, 2, 3 39s. We do have 2 49s, but since this one shows up more, 39 is the winner. So our mode would be 39. There are 3 situations we need to be aware of. The first one is multiple modes. So for instance, I have a set of numbers here. I've already put it in order from least to greatest. As I'm looking through, I see I have 3 7s, 2 11s, and 3 12s. So the numbers that show up 3 times are the most. So there's actually going to be more than one mode. It's going to be 7 and 12. So in this situation, you actually have 2. Another situation you might come to find is no mode. So what that means is no number shows up any more than any other number. So for 3, 8, 17, 22, and 30, they all show up one time, so that would be no mode. The reason I have mode of 0 here is because sometimes we want to say no mode, we want to say 0. But the thing is, if you have a mode of 0, that means that the number 0 actually shows up the most. So you need to be careful with your words here. If there's a mode of 0, that means 0 comes up more than any other number. If all the numbers come up the same amount of times, that means there's no mode. Let's go ahead and look at our note sheet. Finding the mode, what is the mode? The mode is the number that shows up the most in a data set. How do you find the mode? First, you put the numbers in order, and second, find the number that shows up the most. If all the numbers show up the same, there's no mode. That'll be example 2. And if 2 numbers show up the same amount, they're both the mode. And that'll be example 3. So let's go ahead and look at example number 1. We had a set of 6 numbers. We put them in order, and we see 10 shows up the most, so the mode is 10. In our second example, we put our numbers in order and realize that no number shows up any more than the others, so in this case there is no mode. And finally, in example 3, as we line them up, we see that we have 2 35s and 2 90s, so there are actually 2 modes, 35 and 90. So the important ideas here is, number 1, you need to order your numbers, mostly just to make sure you don't miss anything or not count enough numbers. And number 2, you need to make sure you know the difference between no mode and a mode of 0. Let's do some practice. Go ahead and pause your video, order these numbers, figure out what the mode is, and then I'll play it and you can see if you're right. All right, for our first set of numbers, there is no mode. No number shows up any more than the others. In our second example, we actually have 2 modes, 10 and 92. I hope that you enjoyed this video. We have one more video in this series on range, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.